So I was thinking earlier, um, I haven't got my nails done in a minute.
Right? Really?
I think COVID hit, and I was like, kind of anxious about like going and getting my nails like done.
Little mani petty.
Yeah, like even getting my haircut, which especially through like the, I mean, nowhere was open, right?
Right.
Um, except for the grocery stores. Like
Yeah.
that, like it was there. Hospitals, obviously. Um,
I mean, even going to a grocery store was just like going through
Whoopsie.
because all the aisles were like vacant. That was some eerie.
Whoopsie.
that was what that was where it it was just like the level of uncertainty around the world as a whole, right?
Yeah.
And like I I remember I was following along with it hour to hour, day by day, like watching the New York Times post like the updated stats and everything of like the number of cases and this, that, and the other. I was just thinking about this this morning too, because like I was like, it's wild to me to think like there was a time where I didn't know anyone who had it yet.
Yeah.
And that, but it was like I was waiting to hear about someone that I knew who knew someone that had
right.
it.
I think it took a couple months for me to start having that aspect that somebody I knew had it. I think it took maybe like 2-3 months, maybe.
Yeah.
Then I started having somebody. It's like, yeah, my parent, one of my parents had it. Then they passed, and then their mom had it, and they passed.
Yeah.
Again, not gonna say their name out of respect, but
Sure.
like lost both their parents within the same month.
Yeah, that's insane.
And like saying, it's just crazy to think about that.
Yeah, I mean, one of my bosses just had tested positive early last week, and her kids, her team was scheduled to compete this past weekend. She couldn't go.
Jeez.
The final competition of the season, and she doesn't get to go like see them perform. Those people, I mean, she'll get to see them at the recital, but she's going to watch them from backstage because she's producing the show.
It's like we're out of the neck of the woods of a lot of this stuff, but it still like has like those punches of like, nope, still here.
Yep.
Like,
yep. Yeah. I mean, it's
so it's almost like annoying at this point where it's like you want it to be done, but it's still out there. So you still have to keep your guard up. But I feel like, and I've been saying this a lot, that like this summer is definitely going to be like, a different summer than the last two.
Yeah.
Now that like a lot of things have lifted, at least here in America.
Right. Well, the strands or the variants that are out now are less severe, so people are approaching it just kind of like it's a cold. Like I know someone who was in their early 90s that tested positive, like, but they were in a hospital for something else. Yeah. They just happened to COVID test them. But they were saying the symptoms that she was feeling were from the thing that she was in the hospital for. Yeah. So the COVID positive test, she was basically not seeing. And I was like, and she's in her 90s.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, I'm kind of at the point where like some people say the masks don't even work. Right. So it's like my bosses have been advising us, hey, heads up, people are testing positive here and there, or such and such teacher just tested positive, or my significant other, not mine, but they're just letting us know, like, they have tested positive. You do what you want. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask. One of my places, they had like a mini breakout across the studio, and they were like, we're strongly advising. Yeah. And I was just like, I'm kind of like, I had it. I already had it. And that doesn't mean I can't get it again.
I mean, I am not confirmed that I've had it, but I know I've had it.
Okay.
I know me and Jen have had it.
Yeah.
We never got tested, but I know we've both had it.
Yeah. Well, the thing is the tests weren't even like available. Like you couldn't get your hands on one at the one point when like the Omicron variant was when I got it.
Yeah.
Like right around the holidays,
right,
6 months ago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was when it was like you could like all you had to do was apply, and like the government was sending you 4 free tests kind of thing. But we were getting them after like a month after the fact that we had it, and we were already quarantining and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh wait, we're recording. What's up, everybody?
How we doing?
One set here. How you doing?
Man.
We are live in person for episode 20. It's been a while.
It's been a minute.
If you guys have been watching our past episodes, we've been, batching them, so we haven't been doing them weekly. So this is the first time that me and Jim have been, not only talking to each other, but in person for a little while. So this has been a treat for us to kind of, be able to kind of, catch up on what our weeks have been like. And, I had my show at the Shore this past Friday, and we'll get into that. You just started your competition season, right?
So the competition season is wrapping up. I'm actually like pretty heavy into like recitals.
That's it.
Yeah.
Competitions ending, recitals starting.
Yeah. This is just that month where it's like the competitions are coming to a close, but it's also like hustle to get the recital ready to go. And like I said, every weekend in June I have something somewhere,
right?
And it's a little bit challenging because I have a place I teach at on Saturdays, and they usually have their shows like end of May, real early June. They're doing the third Saturday in June, and I have 2 recitals on the weekends the weekend before.
Yeah.
And they're not close together by any means.
Right.
So like the lineups for the shows are basically, well, let me for the second weekend show, that lineup is out. But I know like my schedule for teaching on Saturdays, it's like kind of in the middle of the day, and the first weekend in June, and they only do Saturday for the recitals. They don't do Friday and Saturday, which is pretty much my second weekend's shows are Friday, Saturday. So I'm going to go Friday night and unfortunately have to miss because the Saturday recitals that they're doing, they're not at night, they're in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I can't get from here an hour north of where I need to be in time to see my kids by the time I'm done teaching here.
Exactly.
So it's getting kind of hectic with that. But it just kind of is the nature of the beast. The first weekend in June, the recital starts at 11 a.m. And my classes are 12 to 2.
Yeah.
So it's like I can only do one or the other. And it's just tough because like I would like to rehearse my kids 2 weeks before their recital, but I'd have to miss
one. You'd have to sacrifice something in order for that to start going.
Yeah.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, brother. Love you, man.
Love you
It's
too.
great to see you again.
Absolutely.
It's been 1 week since you looked at me.
Yeah,
that. Been a few weeks since you looked at me, actually.
Yeah, I can agree.
Yeah. We stocked up episodes, I want to say 18 and 19.
And 17.
So
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, no. Yeah. So we recorded episodes 16 and 17 back to back.
And then 18 and 19 back to back.
We did that just to say, hey, let's just record 2 short episodes.
Yeah.
We didn't even know that we needed a backup. And then the next week I started looking ahead of the schedule and I was like, I'm going to need a backup and you're going to need a backup. So we recorded 18 and 19 together,
back to back. Yeah.
And then it just made our lives so much easier. And I'm sure that anyone that's following along with us that does podcasts, it's like it got to a point where it was like, is it feasible to actually record every week on the week? It's like, I know like the LTG guys, because they were reporting on weekly stuff.
That's something you definitely have to do like every week.
Yeah.
I mean, for something like us, I mean, you know, I think the more challenging thing is that we like to kind of be relevant when we go every week. So it was kind of, sometimes those episodes were hard to kind of be like, okay, thinking of that episode, what that week will be, and trying to make that episode relevant to that week, and trying to not be like, oh well, that already happened, so why the hell are we talking about that?
Right.
But I think we made our points pretty well when we were talking. I mean, if we miscalculated anything, sorry about that, guys.
Yes, sorry, y'all.
Sorry.
Just so you know, right now it is Wednesday, May 18th at 12:15 in the morning. We had once again some technical difficulties getting started. I had a fun obstacle. I was trying to get here by 10:30. I got home at 5 after 10, and I was like, I'm just gonna sit and relax for a minute.
Yeah.
And because I had just got done teaching for like 6 hours. I usually teach 5.5, but I had a lesson prior, like a private lesson prior. So I was there 3 to 9:30, and then I stopped for gas, which I know I've said on here before. I stopped Tuesdays and Thursdays, because Delaware's cheaper,
right,
and Baltimore's even cheaper.
Yeah, you got to take advantage of that, especially right now.
Oh my god, man! I mean, it's like I think back to the last time that I knew prices were above $4. I never saw it above $4.22 or $4.24. Like around here where we live. I know out in California it's always like more expensive and stuff.
Right.
But the fact that it's getting so close to $5 right now, I'm like, oh my god, and there's no end in sight. It's gonna get jacked for the summer. So
absolutely.
I'm like, okay, so
do you have the Wawa rewards? Little key fobs?
I do, and I heard that you can get 15 cents off.
Yeah, I've been taking advantage of that. Shout out to Wawa for hooking everybody up with 15, at least for the month of May. So I've been definitely taking advantage of the 15 cents off your gas.
Yeah, I did hear about that. I haven't been taking advantage of it, but I literally need to start to. Like I said, my work schedule dies down in the summer, but I still have to travel far for work.
Yeah. So I mean, it helps. I mean, I think when I really started noticing when it was like, a little over $4, I think it was like $4.10, and then I used the 15 cents off, and I got it under $4. I was like, score. Thanks, Wawa.
Yep. I mean,
my son says Wawa, by the way, now. He just said it a couple of days. I'm like, yes, you're from Delco now.
Shout out Lil Tone.
Lil Tone.
Oh man,
he's starting to really get his words. Man.
Yeah,
it's funny. Like we're really just starting to just like throw like random words out at him and just say like, like Wawa. He's like Wawa. Colors and numbers and everything, and and it's funny to hear when he's trying to say a word that he can't get out, and he, like just the way his mouth is like, yeah, come on, and then either he'll say it or he's like, no, I can't do it right now.
It's like, come on, buddy, say elephantitis.
Yeah, if he did that, I probably would have myself. Like, okay, put this kid in the honor roll, honor society right now.
Oh shoot! Sorry, time stamping because we usually do that when we're going through the Zencaster,
Yeah, man.
when we're doing the virtual episodes, I'm usually just docking it on the sides. So
Right.
I'm glad that just popped into my head, because if we did this whole episode and then I had to go back and trace
I was thinking
all
about
the
that the whole time. I'm
obscenities,
like, well, we have to think about that, but one of us will think about it. But
got us covered.
One of us.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
The One Set Podcast.
It's crazy how long this has been going for us.
Yeah,
I think this is the most consistent I've been. Not even just with a podcast, but with
cheers
just
to new
something.
drink. That's bad luck. You got
Yeah. The most consistent I've been with a thing, like this amount of time consistently.
Yeah, you mean like our weight loss challenge?
Yeah, that
We're-
too.
Whoopsie. In the better.
I mean, hey, I will say I did hit a good goal this past Friday at my gig. I wanted to be 210 by the time my gig was here, and I was 210.6. I'll take it as a win.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm 213 right now, but
dude,
and I'll get to the reason why.
I think I weighed in at like 189 yesterday, and I was just like, and I shouldn't. I don't want to say it's Cheyenne getting surgery's fault as to why,
right.
but like realistically, like she couldn't eat. Like,
Yeah,
we did so good through April, like I was killing it. I was like just like mapping out my meals day by day.
yeah,
Like I was not drinking beer at all. And I was drinking a lot of water, and what kind of really started hurting me was my Fit Track scale that I got for my birthday.
Yeah.
It stopped syncing my when I'd weigh myself, it stopped syncing to my app on my phone, and I was like, I'm afraid to like uninstall the app and then lose everything, but it's not. I can't get anything on it right now, so it's not even serving me.
So when is that like a Wi-Fi thing that might be an issue, or
I don't know, because I mean I haven't tested the scale outside of the apartment that I live in. Like I
maybe there's something in the settings, because I know for my Fitbit through the app, in the settings you can resync it within the app. So maybe there's something in there you can probably check.
Yeah, I mean, and
do it now.
It's like that really made me think of that one commercial, like when I used to watch The Price is Right back in the day.
Yeah.
And it's like the, I don't know, man, and I don't know if they're married or not, but they clearly live together, and they're talking about like life insurance. And
yeah,
he's like, I'll call later on, and she's like, you call now. He's like, I'll call now.
Like those stupid commercials that
like diabetes. I shouldn't make fun of it, but
she sounds hideous. Like, well, she's a guy, so that has to be the top 10 best commercial.
Yeah. As much as we like hate on commercials, because we're just like, come on, man. Especially watching wrestling, they feel like they're endless on a Monday Night Raw, right?
Right.
About that, yeah. I'm sure that's why AEW is trying to get like the plus points, because they do the picture-in-picture.
Yeah,
you won't miss a second of our action here.
Which, I mean, that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the commercials that, I mean, obviously they're limited, because you're not going to do a whole, 5-10 minute segment of commercials and watch a picture-in-picture, but you'll have maybe like 2-3 commercials, and then it goes right back, and you don't really miss anything.
Well, the thing with that too is the network is cutting deals with the advertisers that are running the commercials, and basically saying, well, you can pay premium, like, so that it's just your commercial on the screen, or you can pay like a prorated price to have it picture in picture with the program that's on right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if the advertisers are like, well, if people are still going to see it, like, so the commercials are audible, right?
Yeah.
So when it goes to the commercial, you can hear the commercial. You can't hear the wrestling commentary, which who the fuck cares anyway?
Right.
It's like, I just want to see the flippy flips things that are happening over here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I got it. But how do we even get there? We're talking best commercials.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the only time that people are really like, oh, commercials is like Super Bowl commercials. But that's because people pay high premium.
It's ugly how much people pay for Super Bowl commercials.
Yeah, I heard it's like millions of dollars.
Millions and billions. Millions and billions. Where does that come from? I don't even know if that's just something we just said or it's actually like a quote from somebody, but I feel somebody had said that before.
No, when you said billions, I thought of this guy, Dr. Evil. Yeah,
of course.
This guy. Of course. Couldn't even think of his name.
They had a meme about the whole Johnny Depp and
the Amber Heard outfit that looked like Dr. Evil is perfect because she is evil. Yeah.
And the caption was like liquid hot magma. Killed. They're just killing those two.
Oh my god!
I mean, I haven't really been following it too much, and we don't have to really talk too much. I mean, I'm sure you guys can get it enough in the internet. I haven't really been following it too much, but it's just like, it's just another thing for people to just talk about and take sides about.
It's distracting people away from
what's really happening. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, granted, their case, it's a serious thing between the two of them, but like the whole, like, I don't want to say the whole world, but like everybody's got their eyes on it. Like, this is nuts. Johnny Depp is the best, blah, blah, blah. Screw her.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't want to be that judge.
Yeah. I would not want to be anywhere near that. It's like, I got to make this decision. Like,
yeah. I mean, wait. I did happen to see the Saturday Night Live skit.
I didn't.
On it. You got to check it out.
I heard it's good, though.
You've got to watch that.
Saturday Night Live always delivers. And I love watching the Weekend Update.
I just watched that one this morning from this last Saturday.
I heard they killed it on that one, too.
I was dying.
I got to catch up on it. Those two are always good at that.
Yeah. Well, they keep trying to, like, break each other.
Oh, yeah.
That's the best because, like one of them will say something and then the camera will cut to them and they'll act like they're fine, or they'll just be frozen and then they'll be like.
I think Norm Macdonald was probably one of the best ones that did it because he just did not care what people thought about it. He would just go off and just talk about something, and it would just. I mean, rest in peace to Norm Macdonald. But if he would have been on it today, canceled immediately. But then again, he wouldn't have cared. That's the way he was. But
I don't know. Like some of the things that they're saying, I'm like, I don't know how they're getting away with it. I'm like, in this day and age,
Saturday Night Live has always been
really good at pushing the envelope.
To the point that
definitely raises some eyebrows, right?
Yeah,
some eyebrows.
But then again, ratings, just like anything. If you're talking about it, you're gonna be doing it. So
speaking of that manicure, I can't believe we were on air when I was talking about my
God
done. No, like we were talking earlier about how like I let it go too long.
Yeah,
I let them go too long because I'm anxious about cutting them down too short.
Yeah,
right.
And that was always my problem.
Yeah. So I was thinking back earlier today, like, man, I remember being a kid and I used to bite my nails. And I was like, at some point, I just stopped. And I was like, you know why? It's because I would bite them down too low and it would kill.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I'd be mad at myself for doing it.
And for that reason was the same reason, because I would cut it down to like the actual like nail part of it, and I cut it down one part to the point where it was just irritating. And I'm like, okay, I can't cut it down that far anymore.
Yeah. And then the whole catch-22 here is when you let them go too long, they can bend, and then that kills.
Yeah. And for me,
had that happen where like playing basketball or even like
playing guitar, if my nails get too long, they get like not necessarily caught, but they feel weird on the strings.
You got nails like out the ear, and you're playing your guitar.
There are like finger style dudes that they're like they have like the long fingers and they play the
they play with their nails.
They play with their nails. Yeah.
Oh my
like
god,
it's a thing, dude.
That's wild.
Yeah, but no, like it annoys me like hell if I have long nails. Like I will literally, if I need to before a gig, I will cut my nails so I don't have to feel that, because it's like I feel like I can't catch the string because then my nail gets over top of the string and it feels weird.
Yeah, I noticed it yesterday. I was like, these are getting kind of long, and then like I was getting ready for work today, and I was like, am I really going to work and like not trimming these? I had to get on the road. I didn't have time. So now I'm like, I can't go teach tomorrow without trimming these. I'm just at that point. So stupid. Like
my brother used to be the one that would bite his nails more than me. I never really bit my nails. Like I said, I was the one that cut my nails
too low,
but he would bite them.
Oh, I've done all the above. I've cut them too low. I'd bite them too low, and I've let them grow too long to the point where they've been back, and I'd be like, God.
I haven't had that problem, but I've had them pretty long to not like that. But
I'm getting close to the point. Look at that.
Whoopsie. Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Look at this.
Look at that. Yeah, you need a setup.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, so that's nail biting. It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. So like you said, sometimes you'll be real good about just like kind of trimming your nails down rather than like you're cutting it as far down as you can.
Like I'll sometimes like now they're kind of like halfway to the point where I'll be like, okay, they're
they
almost
don't
ready to cut. They
don't
too
look
bad.
long. They look all right.
So,
but in 2 weeks,
2 weeks, I'll probably be like, yeah, I'm gonna cut these.
Whoopsie. And just to wrap this up, because we don't need to be talking about it.
Whoopsie.
For the whole episode.
Yeah. And speaking of that, how about we do this review on something we've been trying to get in contact with for a little while. We've purchased ourselves some Liquid Death. We've been hearing this, throughout the podcast.
Two Bears. Right.
Podcast Network and Two Bears and a lot of other podcasts. So we wanted to do our own little review of Liquid Death.
Let's see what it's all
Cheers.
about. Cheers.
It's not bad.
Granted, I'm coming off drinking a summer shandy here.
Yeah.
I don't really taste anything.
I mean, sparkling water. It's sparkling water, but I mean, I can see myself drinking it. Not like going through a whole pack in a day, but I can be like, okay. I mean, I feel it's like something you can just be like, okay, if you need a pick me up, yeah, I like it.
I like their mission. Like I'm not. I mean, I
Whoopsie. Who needs words? We're beyond them.
Right. I was just gonna say,
R.I.P. Spectrums.
Yeah. I like their mission because, let's see, what does it say here? This infinitely recyclable can of stone cold sparkling water came straight from
the Alps
to murder your thirst. Wow, that's aggressive. I mean, it is Liquid Death. I see where they went there.
Yeah.
Excuse me. When a group of teenagers set off into the mountains for a weekend of drinking regular water in plastic bottles, they became hunted by an aluminum can of mountain water that was dead set on murdering their thirsts and recycling their souls. Okay, so they're doing the little play on words thing here. It's real real toot. Once
Good
crack,
marketing.
yeah, it's fun. I mean, the can looks awesome, right?
Yeah.
Once,
They definitely got the, you know,
once cracked open, no thirst is safe from liquid death. Okay, next. Skip.
scatter.
Um, hashtag death to plastic, right? So it says we donate 10% of the profits from every can sold to help kill plastic pollution. So
I think that's one of their biggest missions is, staying away from the plastic water bottles.
Yeah.
Because they say that, with water being in a can, not only does it taste better, but obviously, I guess, better for the environment because, plastic, but then again, if we want to get into the technical things with it, I mean, you're still worrying about
well, you got to depend on the people to recycle the freaking can.
Yeah, and I'm thinking from a toxicology standpoint.
Yeah,
oh, you still have like PCBs and all that other toxic stuff because you got all the
CBs,
all the CBs and the all this other stuff. So I mean, you can still get a lot of that, but people, we're gonna die one day.
We sure are,
but it really doesn't matter.
Yeah,
we're gonna die a liquid death.
Yeah,
bomb.
This is out here to murder our tastes or just murder us. Period. So for a
yeah,
for a pack of 6, you said it was like $7.
Yeah, a little over 7.
So it's a little bit more than $1 per can. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna stick with buying my $4 packs of water bottles for $4. Wait, I said $4 packs of waters for $4. Okay, cut. No, because I'm paying less than $4 for a case of water that has like 36 bottles of water.
Yeah,
and then
I feel liquid death would be something like a treat water. It's not going to replace a bottle of water for me,
right? But
it would almost be like a beer for me. Like
right.
There'd be something that'd be like, okay, if you're having like a little get together, like, oh, okay, I'll get a couple of these and throw 1 or 2 back.
Well, the thing too, like,
even though it's not alcohol, it's sparkling water.
This looks like an alcoholic drink.
It does. And when I first saw it, I thought it was alcohol.
Yeah.
So I was like, I will definitely try that. But then when I saw it was sparkling water, I'm like, oh, okay.
CB.
So definitely CB on that one. But again, I like the whole, mission statement behind it.
Yeah. I mean, and what I was trying to get at earlier is like, I'm not like a heavy duty environmentalist, but I'm also not someone that will just throw a plastic bottle out of my car window. Like,
yeah,
I'm kind of just like, do the, like, I say, do the right thing, where it's like, don't be a jerk and like litter.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm also not like bashing the entire world of people that aren't like planting seeds to see more trees.
Yeah.
The Johnny Appleseeds of the planet. Right.
Yeah. So if I could say this, I mean, liquid death, we back your mission.
Yeah, so. For sure. And if somebody handed this to me, like knowing that I've tried it, I wouldn't say, yeah, no, I'm good. I hate that stuff. Like, I would drink it.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm not running to the store to get a case of it.
Right.
Like you said, it's like a luxury water rather than, yeah.
It's definitely, it's like, Voss water or, alpaca water, like Fiji and all those. Yeah. Like, I mean, it's not something you're going to be like, oh, I can only drink that type of water.
Right.
Like I'm above all these other type of waters.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I like it. I think it's it's a preferable, sparkling water is definitely preferable. Taste, you have to kind of get used to it, other than if you're not used to having sparkling water. You're
a kid and you have water, and then you have juice, and then you have soda for the first time, and you're like, carbonation, yes.
Yeah.
look at all of the bubbly sensations going on in here. So like, I remember when I had, I know I've referred to them before as the mommy's waters, because like that's what a lot of women in my life call them, but they're like it's like the sparkling flavored waters,
Yeah.
right? Like I remember being a teenager and having them for the first time. I was like, okay, I can get behind this because it's water. It's not high fructose corn syrup juice, but it's really weird. I tell my students how like I didn't drink water regularly until I was in my until I was doing the convention tour circuit because I'd be taking class in the hotel ballroom or wherever,
Right.
and the hotels would have like the huge tubs of the water dispenser on either side of the room. And if like I showed up for a stretch of classes the one day and I didn't grab like a Gatorade, I'd have to drink water and I'd be like, oh my God, this is saving my life right now. So that's how I transitioned into drinking water more frequently.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is doing better for my body while I'm being active and breaking a sweat and my
Absolutely.
heart's pumping. And, then I found out that Gatorade is like bad for you.
Yeah.
The electrolytes are good for you after a workout, but if you're just drinking them casually,
If you're just drinking it casually, it's not going to give you the same effect because I think it's like the sugar quality is what is going to be essential for you after a workout. If you're just drinking it to drink it, it's just like drinking soda in a way. You're just drinking a whole bunch of sugar.
I'm out here looking for the nutritional facts about this water. There aren't any because it's just water.
I was going to say,
right?
Usually it's just water, so it's just zero.
Murder your thirst.
They probably just figured, you should probably know by now that there's no calories in water.
So this says average aluminum can contains 70% recycled material.
I saw that too.
Average plastic bottle contains only 3%. Wow. That's different. So canned water is because in my head I'm like, okay, well, if I have a bottle of water and I drink it and I recycle it, I'm still recycling. But it's saying of the plastic, only 3% of it is recyclable material. Where's the rest of the plastic going?
Exactly.
There it is.
Yeah. So,
liquid death, people.
Yeah.
Give it a try. Maybe you'll like it.
Yeah. The ones that dudes like it, I think we gave an honest review.
Yeah, absolutely.
We back it. We back the mission to liquid death. So we're glad to
on that. Man, dude, what has been going on these last 3 weeks?
So
tell everyone about the Cape May gig.
Okay, so
let's get into that.
Yeah, let's get into it. So the gig went good. Like I said, we've been batching the episodes so that I can do some practicing. Jim had some competitions during the week, and so I was just getting my setup ready, just making sure that I had everything ready to go that day, that I didn't have to tweak a lot of things. I didn't mind having to tweak a couple mixing things. Like, oh, I got to turn my guitar up and got to turn this little thing down, turn the mic down, turn it up a little bit. But I didn't want to have to be, doing a lot of tweaks and a whole bunch of things like, oh, this is not sounding right, that's not sounding right. So took a couple days to kind of get that all set up and looking good.
Excuse me.
Then I started going through my song list, making sure that I was tightening up anything that either if there was like a solo that I needed to relearn, songs that I needed to tighten up vocally or just music in general, making sure that I had certain things written down the right way. I was trying to think if there was any songs that I maybe wanted to learn and catch up on, and maybe I can do them. Didn't get a chance to do that, but I at least was able to, be fully prepared with going into Friday. Now, 2 weeks when I announced the show, I was telling myself, okay, I got to make sure that I stay healthy for these next 2-3 weeks. Little did I know that Tuesday or Wednesday, I started getting my allergy started working up. I think it started Monday, and I'm like, please don't let this start happening. So, and then it's kind of went away Tuesday. Then Wednesday, it really started picking up again. I'm like, all right. So I started pumping medicine in me, doing anything I could to just get this to go away. Did not go away. So I go in Friday morning, and my nose is and my allergies are all stuffed up, and I'm like, all right, well, I can't cancel because I've been waiting for this, and I've been waiting for this day for so long, and it already took me a little bit of time to get in there to get a gig. So I'm like, I just got to go in there, and so the gig went good. I thought, I was supposed to be playing on the rooftop, but the weather was not sunny. It was cloudy, but it was very windy.
Well, you're by the beach.
Yeah, so it was right on the beach.
Sorry,
Were
the shore.
The shore.
We're Jersey.
Yeah.
It's not a beach.
Come on now. But yeah, so you had that ocean breeze coming. So, I mean, if I had to put on the rooftop, I would have, obviously. But they were telling me that they were going to close down the rooftop and you would be playing inside. I'm like, all right, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
So get set up and everything, ready to go. First set, the only thing that I forgot was my phone clamp that I put on either my
mic
stool or I put on my PA system to hold my phone for when I live stream my gigs.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, all right, I can live without that. So I just put my phone on my PA system and I was able to kind of live stream. But the device that I use usually charges my phone. My phone was at 30%. So I had to charge my phone for the first half hour of my set before I started live streaming my first set. And so I was kind of battling between charging it and live streaming, charging and live streaming.
Now pause for the cause real quick, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you played last Friday. Did you go to work a little bit?
I took off the day.
You took the whole day. Okay.
I was originally planning to go in the morning and then probably leave around 10, 11 o'clock because I was first expecting to play at 5. So I was like, all right, I mean,
you can make that
leave
happen.
at 12 and then get down there and blah, blah, blah. But then I was told I was playing at 4. I'm like, all right, I got to take off because there's no point in me going in for like an hour or two.
Yeah.
Definitely no more than 2. So I'm like, I might as well just take off. So they weren't, they didn't have a problem with it. I just batched a lot of my work the first like 4 days. So then that Friday, there was going to be no problem. And the person, my other work colleague, was off that week. So it was just me in the lab. So I was just making sure that everything was left good. I had all my responsibilities done. So, but yeah, back to the gig. I got a lot of reactions. A lot of people started liking me. I was telling you earlier, I was kind of wondering what song to play first because the bar was crowded, but the little restaurant area had maybe 2 or 3, tables that were full, and I think there was maybe 5 or 6 tables that were in there.
So you're like trying to gauge your audience, like, okay, what song
because I didn't want to come off
cater to the room.
Yeah, I didn't want to come off too hot.
Sure.
I didn't want to come off too mellow, but I wanted to kind of have something that was kind of
middle of the road,
something that was going to ease into everybody.
Sure.
Because I mean, it's one thing to kind of just hit everybody, impress everybody right then and there, but you don't want to come off and be like, okay, this guy's annoying. But then you don't want to have like a slow song and be like, okay, this is going to be like what he's going to be playing the rest of the time. So played a Marshall Tucker band song that I like called Can't You See. I usually like starting out with that. If not, I mean, it's usually like a mellower, but it has some solos, has some rockability that you can kind of just get into.
It's got a nice contrast of like it's an easy listen, but it's not like soft. like soft. You know what I mean?
Knowing that I have an acoustic guitar and electric guitar that I simultaneously switch back and forth from, I'm like, all right, do I want to start something with that? Because, you know, again, with the loudness ability, did I want to have something that was going to be really loud at first, or something that, and I feel that song is not too loud for me, that it's not going to be pushing a lot of loudness.
It's not too aggressive.
There's the word. It's not too aggressive as a first starter. So I played it, and the people that were you know, eating right in front of me, they kind of were like, oh, great song. So I'm like, all right, good, got first good reaction. I picked a good
line and sinker.
I picked a good starting, and then right off of that, I'm like, all right, just start, you know, doing a lot of the live looping songs that I did. Everything was going good, and then
you started to feel it in like your second set, right?
Like halfway through the second set into maybe the last like 10-15 minutes, I'm starting to get like a little bit of like roughness like in my throat. Hoarse, not even irritation, but like, it was getting like hoarse, of course.
Literally, and in my head was like, is that even the right word?
I always think
it was like dry, right?
And I'm like, all right, I gotta drink some water. Because if I'm like, and why not just have a little bit of liquid death? But that wasn't working. So I'm like, I'm definitely almost losing my voice. So the next, going into my next set, I'm starting to feel like, all right, I don't want to blow out my voice. So I got to pick songs that I'm not going to be having to belt out or really go into a big register.
It's not stressing you.
So I'm like, all right, let me just do this song. I'll play this song, then this and that. I start playing like the first song, and I can't even get into some of the even easier notes. Like, so I have to, you know, start lowering down an octave on some of the notes that I hit too, because my voice was just not, you know, doing what I wanted to do. And I think it was obviously just because of my allergies. That's
me, by the way.
I figured.
For the timestamp.
And it just, my allergies and the fact that my nose was still, you know, filling up with all that stuff, and there wasn't air getting up there, and it was just, you know, I was like I was telling you earlier, I was trying to sing the Jeffrey Gaines song "In Your Eyes," and that first note, love, and I'm like, oh God, I can't even hit that. And I'm like, and it was a first note in the song. I'm like, I gotta work through this song. This song sounds so bad. And again, I'm my own worst critic, and I'm sure a lot of musicians and dancers likewise
it's an art thing.
It's like we're our own worst critics, and this is when my mind really got messed up, because there was these two people, and again, I'm always looking at people in the audience, engaging, like, are they, like, when they're looking, like, hey, what's their, you know, vibe? I saw these two people up, like sitting a little further away from me. They come up to the front to start watching, and this is when my voice is like not its best. I'm like, you guys don't want to do this.
You were like, you should have been here in the first set,
right? I'm like, so
anxiety 101.
I'm like, oh, like I'm glad that you guys are liking this, but this is not the time you really want to be listening to me.
Yeah, it sucks because at that point you're kind of like, I just need to get through this.
And that was my only thing. Like, all right, just get through this set. Try to, and I'm like, all right, there's no way I can't do an instrumental set for the next half hour, because there's no way I can just be like, all right, well, I can't sing anymore, so I'm just gonna play these songs without any vocals. That's not gonna work.
Right.
So I'm like, I just stuck with the fact that just trying to sing the songs in a lower octave if I needed to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I felt, and again, I don't feel like bombed, but I feel I got through it.
Right.
But in my mind, I knew it wasn't my best.
Yeah, and that's always.
But I felt overall, outside of that last set, I felt the night was good. I mean, I got people to engage with me. I got people clapping, engaging. I got tips.
Yeah,
I had,
it wasn't beat dead.
Yeah, it's
Right.
not like people were just not responding all night.
Right.
I think they were all. I had a great. And here's the thing too. As the night went on, more people were showing up. It got packed in there.
Good.
I was and this was not even peak season yet.
And again, if you were like
Whoopsie
in the bed bad,
yeah,
people would leave and just go somewhere else.
exactly.
Right?
And my thought process on it was the fact that, when promoters are there, they're not watching you every 24 seconds. So I'm always thinking, they're always probably checking the vibe of the room. They know when you're playing, but as the room gets filled more, sometimes you're going to get drowned out unless I turn up a little bit. Sometimes I will turn up a little bit if I know the room's getting a little bit louder, just so I can hear myself a little bit.
Get turned. Yeah.
But yeah, in that time, I was not getting turned. My voice turned the other way. But again, looking at it, I felt the night was good. I just, was telling Jen, telling my mom, my dad.
Well, you were being hard on yourself, obviously, because your voice was
just
going.
saying that
like
I hope they look at the set in a whole rather than looking at that last hour and being like, nah, I mean, this guy's okay.
Yeah, I mean, and that's tough because, like, you are, you're performing for hours.
Yeah.
Right? So.
And that was the first time that I've ever had to deal with. There was one other time, but I started feeling this way after I got done playing.
Yeah, it's different. You're not in the heat.
It never happened.
Yeah.
During the set, and I was like, crap.
Yeah. Sure.
But this was the last time that happened. Yeah, it was after I got done playing. I'm like, all right, well, whatever. I mean, I didn't really care because I was still was able to deliver. But this was during the last little bit of the set, and I'm like, great. I have to. But then again, I'm sure you've had moments of this too, where you have to just kind of adapt to if something goes wrong, you have to adapt and be like, okay, what do I do here? And you try not to let people know that something's wrong, but you're adapting to, like, if something's going wrong in your set, like, okay, now you kind of have to tweak this and tweak that on the fly.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, and I was like, I'm glad we're talking about it because I wanted to ask like how you feel when you're going into a new venue or you're playing somewhere for the first time. Like, how do you prepare for that? You kind of can't, but you're like, I'm gonna pick a song that's middle of the road, and gauge it from there. So when I go, I wouldn't say when I do like the backup gigs, like that's different. I basically just go and do my best. I try to nail the choreography and look strong,
right,
and make sure that I'm like making eye contact with people in the audience and trying to like engage with them, so it's not just like, hey, I'm here repeating choreographed steps that I've practiced and I'm gonna get paid and leave. See ya.
Right.
I have more anxiety going and teaching somewhere new, and I do that way more than I do the backup stuff. But the thing with doing the backup gigs is you kind of go up there and you do your best and that's it. Like, not that teaching is, you don't go do your best, but the thing with performing predetermined choreography versus you're trying to gauge a room of students.
Yeah.
Right. Especially, being somewhere that you've never been before, you're like, I don't know if these kids are going to be, one, at a caliber of what I might have set and prepared for them. Or two, I don't know if they're going to be like into what I have to offer. Right.
Yeah.
So I think in the past 15, 20 years of teaching, it's like I have a couple of go-to like short combinations of like, 15, 30, 45 seconds of choreography that are kind of like my go-to things to teach. And basically basically um if I have the chance to warm up the room before I teach the combination,
Yeah.
I can basically gauge their technique, like the technique of the students in the room based on how well they can execute just doing stretching. It's really weird to think like, just doing a simple lunge,
Yeah.
like how their posture is, their back leg straight, how low are they to the ground in the lunge.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of just look around the mirror and I'm like, okay, these kids look like they have technique and form.
Right.
um or I can look around and engage, yeah, not so much, so probably don't do what you had in mind, maybe
Right.
dial it down.
So you know how kind of how to structure on the fact that, okay, I mean, if you know the kids are on par with certain things, you can, okay, go along with it. Or if they're not up to the par where you think you can, you know how to just troubleshoot and be like, okay, we have to go in a different direction.
Yeah, definitely. But like, there's not really a way for you to do that except for literally judging the room.
Yeah.
Which is what you did. You're like, okay, what's this demographic look like? How old are they? I wouldn't say like you really have to gauge ethnic background too much, because especially at the beach, you're going to get a variety of that anyway.
Yeah. Here's the thing that usually helps me: the music that they play on the speakers. That's my first indication of like, is the music that I play in my sets, are they playing it on the speakers?
Right. So you're tailoring to, well, one, it's who's playing the music. Is the restaurant playing, like, are the, like,
Right.
is the people that operate the restaurant, are they playing the music, or are the patrons, the
Right,
customers,
like jukebox type of thing? Yeah.
right? But at the same time, if the restaurant's playing it, they know their audience,
Right,
because they're there every day.
So I mean, they were, with the time before I was playing, they were playing Rolling Stones, Beatles, modern rock, a lot of different stuff that I'm like, okay, this is stuff that I play.
Sure.
So I know to play a little bit of Beatles. I know to play some Stones. I played some. There was a group of, college kids, and I was playing, Fuel, and surprisingly they knew a couple classic rock people, and I was even saying like it's cool to kind of see the younger age kids appreciate the older stuff too, and the guy was like, yeah, like, I'm like, so at least I know when I have support of stuff that I'm playing, I know to stick to that either era or that style of music.
Right.
And then that helps me know, like, when I don't it and it doesn't really harm me if I don't get those type of reactions, because then I just kind of I just keep picking songs until I get certain reactions, and I'm like, all right, play something else like that.
Right.
Until I get that. And if I don't, then I just keep switching, and and I also keep in mind of like, okay, if I play like two slow songs, all right, pick something up this one. Do something that's a little bit more upbeat.
You're doing the roller coaster.
Yeah. So trying to, get that roller coaster going to,
Yep.
if you played a couple songs that were a little bit slower, I pick it up for maybe the next two or three, and then you can have a slower and bring the vibe back down. And so I'm always thinking of that. But yeah, I think that's one thing that I always look at when I go into a new venue, is what music they're playing on their speakers. If I hear a Hendrix, or if I hear I rarely hear John Mayer playing, but if I hear, Beatles, Stones,
Right.
any of those old guys, stuff that I already know that I play, then I'm like,
Cool.
I think I know they're gonna like what I play.
Cool. Yeah. I never even picked up on that. Like, of all the times that I've come out to watch you, like, I'm either watching, I see you setting up, or I'm helping you set up, You know, if I'm there before, like, long enough before you start, and I'm just kind of like helping you with the little things here and there. I'm not even thinking too much about what music is playing. I'm just thinking about like you getting ready and you being like mentally prepared and like
it's almost like you're having so many other things going on at one time while you're doing the first thing you're doing.
Right.
And I'm sure you have those moments too.
Sure do.
But it's like, you know, you're getting set, but then you're also thinking 10 steps ahead of like, okay, what do I want to start out with? Like, what music are they playing?
Right.
What's the vibe of the crowd? Are they sitting down to eat? Are you in front of a bar? Are you know,
location.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, are these people kind of mellow? Are they, you know, have they had a couple drinks and they're ready to kind of, you know,
cut loose,
box out,
foot loose? Yeah.
And again, that's something that's like, you know, again, about like, you know, trying to open up the gig. Do you want to start with something that's like really like upbeat. Like, but if they're, and most of the time I'm starting off with something that's kind of just, even for me, starting out, something that's easy enough for me to warm up to,
right?
That I can, that I can, you know, warm up my fingers and you know, get something that's going to just get everything, all like the jitters out of me to, you know, get through the rest of the set. Because, you know, just like anything, you always have those, you know, nervous butterflies that you get before you start and during that first song. But after that, and you know, hopefully if I get like somewhat of a reaction off that first song, then I know, okay, then I can kind of just go in that direction of if I get that first reaction. But if I don't, then it's like, okay, I mean, they didn't bill you.
Right. Right.
So you can either play something of that caliber or switch to something, either if it was slow, you pick something that's maybe a little more faster, or depending on the room, you pick another slow one,
right,
of certain caliber. And that's kind of the way I've been kind of, you know, adapting to it over since I've been doing covered gigs since 2017. And, you know,
it's been 5 years already.
It's crazy. I still remember my first gig doing it at the Stretch. I had no clue what I was doing. And just, you know,
I came to that.
You did.
I came to that. Yeah, and it's so funny you mentioned that place because that's somewhere that Cheyenne used to frequent like a lot.
Yeah.
So it
was a nice place.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a cool spot and a night and a good area for an establishment like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, you got, you know, that's prime location. You've got Swarthmore here. You've got Strathaven here. You've got Ridley over here. You've got Media's not far, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it was a good spot.
And ironically, my brother lives behind there now. Like, that's where he lives.
Right.
So, I mean, and it was a good crowd that night too, for being, you know, just coming off of playing original gigs where you're like I'm playing for like 5 people,
and you know, there's not a lot of money there,
right?
But like you got, I think I remember
there's no guaranteed money unless you're selling tickets.
I think I remember you getting paid, and you were like, okay, I could get used to this.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely that first show, I'm like, I just played 3-4 hours of music and they paid me. Like, let's do this again.
Decent, yeah. Let's do it again.
And I would have never thought, you know, getting paid that amount, that somebody would pay me that amount. And again, I think we've gone through this before.
Actually,
on the last live
one, we talked about like money and getting paid and things like that. Yeah.
But and you know, now that I've kind of structured what I want to do in my gigs, because again, I was starting off just doing acoustic and a vocal.
Right.
That got old pretty quick for me, because again, I used to play in bands. I'm used to having so many other sounds and vibes going,
noise things.
So lots of noises.
Lots of noises. Yeah, and just like even just looking around here, I know that like audience can't see, but like you have so much stuff.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And this isn't everything.
You got stuff upstairs.
Yeah, and I got stuff in my parents' house. I still have a couple amplifiers in my old room. And then my
Like
dad has his stuff down in the basement.
Like the bigger ones.
Yeah.
Because you don't need them here.
No, I still have my big Marshall stack that I used to use for Original Sins. I still haven't got rid of that, and I don't want to. I want to. I mean, I don't really have a use for it in my recording studio right now. But again, maybe I'll eventually, once little man gets a little bit older, I can't really do it right now, but maybe down the line,
or if you guys
in my 40s,
bigger spot where you have like your own land where you're not like blowing out your neighbors kind of thing.
Yeah. And once we, eventually get into a bigger spot, I can, we can pick something and maybe I can have a dedicated music room for it. I can put everything in there.
Right.
But again, with saving that stuff, maybe in my 40s, I'll jump into a cover band.
Right.
And I at least have the equipment to do that.
And it's so funny because I know, earlier I was kind of telling you about how I'm like, am I really going to be doing this dance teaching thing forever? Probably not. So I'm like thinking, what is my next step?
The next step,
I think like just turning 35, we're halfway through our 30s, headed to our 40s, and it's like,
and you've been constantly doing you've been ramping up your teaching for the last couple of years now.
Yeah, I mean, I know we talked about this at length, so I'm not going to get too far into it, but it was, I think it might have been episode 1 when I was talking about how, person I was with, couldn't. So I literally just interviewed somewhere just to be like, look, I can go get a job and keep it kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they wound up offering me like across, because they had a second studio that they were opening. So they offered me like so many classes at one place and so many at another. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And it was, before that point, I was, we were running our own company, our own studio.
Yeah.
And I was only teaching at a couple other places, so it was manageable. Especially the place I was running was close to home, and now I'm traveling so much during the week. Like I'm getting to the point, and it's funny, because I've got a couple of colleague friends of mine that say like I just hate driving now. Like I hate it. Like I'm at the point now, like I have to teach, for instance, this Saturday up north for like an hour. And then my team kids at that studio are competing this weekend. So their rehearsal's not a thing. But like I'm teaching 12 to 1, and then I'm coming, like they're competing 7 miles south of the studio. But they don't go on, like I teach at like noon.
Mm-hmm.
They don't go on until 9 p.m.
Oh, Jesus.
So I'm like, I was just, talking to Cheyenne about this, because I'm like, I really don't want to have to drive past KOP.
Yeah.
To come home. To go back up to KOP.
Yeah.
She's like, what are we going to do for all those hours during the day? Like, we're not going to do things for free. And I was like, I'm going to spend money driving all the way home and driving all the way back up. So it's like right now we're just trying to figure out what we're doing for that. My one Jersey soloist that we just went to see Friday, he's going to be at that same competition too, but he doesn't go until 7. So it's like not... Yeah, it's still a solid 5-6 hours in between. So it's just a matter of trying to decide what's the move. Like, the thing is, if I'm coming home, what am I doing at home? Like, just sitting there staring at a wall?
Right.
Like, I don't know. But yeah, I like you said, it just ramped up my teaching a lot, and I'm at multiple locations, and between Jersey and PA and Delaware and Maryland. every week. I don't know. I don't know if I'm getting like burnout or if I'm just doing it so much and I'm in a lot of different places that I'm like, I'm like sort of second guess, like, you know, maybe do you need to cut back so that you can appreciate it better?
Like kind of figuring out, okay, which, not necessarily which one of these are more important, but like, or which one of these are more worth it, but like you just said, like, maybe cutting back a little bit so you can appreciate when you're actually going towards these things instead of
I'm just
going.
going through the motions right now, and
Yeah,
it's like these kids deserve better. And I've like I said, I've been doing this almost 20 years
yeah,
teaching. Now, granted, when I was 15 to 20, I wasn't teaching a lot, and I
yeah.
was learning.
Mm-hmm.
In those first 5, even 10 years, I'm still learning.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Me too.
I think it's also a matter of like what I teach. It's hip hop. Is the class that I'm teaching recreational or is it competitive? Are the kids in the room trying to level up or are they just there to have fun? And the answer is different everywhere that I'm at, right? So it's not like, I mean, I am kind of like, you know, you, with anything, you get out of it what you put into it,
Yeah,
right? So
100%.
every single class, it's a matter of like, I look around the room and I will have, a percentage of students that are like, I want to be excellent. And then you have a percentage of kids that are like, my mom threw me in here and it's like a glorified babysitting type thing.
Mm-hmm.
No offense to anybody. So,
Yeah.
um, but it's also parents are trying to figure out, what their kids enjoy and they try to have them test out
Multiple things.
multiple things. Right. So I think about, my nieces and how I used to be able to see them every week and like they were all dancing. And now, um, one of the 5 of them dances, and I'm pretty sure that that's not going to be a thing within the next few weeks because she's going to do a recital and she just got into like jujitsu and karate and type thing, and apparently, according to her instructors, she's awesome at it. So it's like,
Awesome.
yeah, I'm happy for her. I just, it's just I think, and we were talking about this before we went on air, just everything that has transpired. Um, if after the past couple years, obviously COVID's a thing.
Yeah.
But the other things that factor in to all of that, it's just weird to watch how everything is changing over. Like, I'm happy at least Kim is really hitting her stride with her new studio right now.
Mm-hmm.
Her kids love her there, so
Great.
I'm happy that she has that. And then, you know, even though my nieces are basically gonna not be really dancing anymore, um, I know that they're all doing things that um they're really enjoying. So
That's all that
like
matters.
that's what really matters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because it's one thing. I mean, like you said, you don't want to. Don't ever want to force your kids to, like I said, perfect example. Like, if my son doesn't want to do music, I'm not going to force him to do it.
Right. That's like if I ever had.
I'm glad he has, like, he seems like he has a notion for music, but I mean, I'll try to lead him into certain things, but if he doesn't want to do it, I'm not going to make him do it. I even
Right.
think, like, my dad, he didn't really force me into music. He put it into my hands,
Right.
but it was more of me that really took the
Initiative.
level and initiative to really want to do something with it.
Sure. I mean, if I ever have kids, you know, I'm gonna be like fun dancing dad, but
Yeah.
like, it's gonna be like, all right, let's put them in a class and see if they like it, and if they
Right.
don't like,
Then
okay, try
that's fine.
the next thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, I'll, and it seems like he's really into sports too. And, we'll definitely put him into multiple sports and let him pick which one
Kind of
which one he
gravitate
likes.
whichever way he
And,
prefers,
if he wants to do music, he wants to do music. But, it's more of what he wants. It's I never feel like you have to force somebody to do something that they really, because I know, I mean, nobody, at least I know, but I know there's parents that usually try to force their kids to do something just because they want them to do that, and then they end up just doing it for them, but they don't really like it. They just feel like, okay, I still want to disappoint my parents. Where it's one thing, I mean, that's fine, but when it comes to a passion, I mean, those kids don't have a passion for it. They're just doing it because they just don't.
The parents are living vicariously through their kids,
right?
Kind of thing. Yeah.
So
I mean, good example of that. The movie Center Stage is like one of the throwback dance movies from like the late '90s, early 2000s. I think it was early 2000s. It came out. There was this one ballet student in the movie. She was super good, but she was dealing with, eating disorder. It's a very common thing, especially in the ballet industry.
Right.
But she got to the point where she realized like she was only doing it for her mom, and her mom, there was this whole scene towards the end of the movie where the girl was like, "I'm not performing." And the mom's like, "What are you talking about? You've wanted this forever." And she said, "No, you've wanted this forever."
Right.
And like, like when I saw that movie, I'm pretty sure I was like,
I vaguely remember it. I think
I don't. I mean, I'll do it because why the
whoopsie.
I think we were seniors in high school when it came out. So 2004, 2005, Center Stage film series. No, film Center Stage. Okay, yeah. So the year 2000. So we were literally in 7th or 8th grade when it came out. So I was a little ahead. Also 115, my bad. But yeah, I remember seeing that, and we're like 13 and 14, maybe close to 15 at that time, and like it was the first time that really, like, I reflected on like, I'm really glad that my parents are letting me choose what I want to do.
Yeah,
because I mean, I think my dad got me into baseball, and I did t-ball in Little League for a few years.
Yeah.
And they got me into karate. I was like, I love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so I would like be all over the place. And I was a wild like 2, 3, 4, 5-year-old, so they were like trying to figure out how to channel my energy,
channel all that energy, right?
Yeah. So
I was a big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan too. I had Donatello for my 5th birthday party.
Yes, I think I always loved Donatello because I always wanted to use a bow staff. So they signed me up for karate, my parents, that is. And I was doing it out of the basement of this dance studio that like they would just rented out the room for karate lessons and stuff.
Yeah.
But we were learning just like your standard technique and some sparring and your katas or your forms. And then when I started dancing, fast forward, 5 years, there was a martial arts studio that opened up underneath the dance studio that I was training at. So I was like, I'm really going from this dance studio over to that dance studio to take karate. But it was like kind of the same thing for 6 years. Like as far as like, okay, white belt, learn to throw some
whoopsie
punch.
Right.
That. So
I took like self-defense type karate stuff. I never really, not that I didn't take it serious, but I did like some self-defense courses and stuff.
So the thing that attracted me to that place was I could see in, and I saw that they had like it looked pretty official. They had like the padded floor, and they had weapons mounted on the wall, and I was like, okay, and I'd see what they were doing, and they were they were practicing like takedowns and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I want to do that.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, that. It was practical though, right?
Right.
I mean, so I did that for like a year, but never got into any of the weapon stuff. They were basically like, yeah, when you're a black belt, then you can start that. And I was at the time I was freshman in high school, and I was just really falling into the dance stuff.
Yeah.
So I actually just stopped doing karate entirely, unfortunately. But I don't know. I can't even tell you which turtle I liked the best growing up, because I love them all for different reasons. I actually think I didn't like Raphael that much because I thought he was just a punk.
Yeah.
And like growing up, I was very like, eh. And then
But as you get older, you're
as
like,
I got older,
I feel you.
I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
I get it.
I mean, you could say everybody liked Michelangelo because he's like the goofy,
He's the
fun
fun
dude.
one. Yeah, yeah.
Leonardo was the leader.
And he
Donatello was a smart. I mean, Leonardo was smart. Donatello was smart, but he had like the tactical type thing.
Sure.
Raphael was kind of like the outcast dude, but
Whoopsie!
you needed him when it was when
what's going down. Yeah.
You needed him.
Yeah.
So, like you said, they all needed each other. They had all four of their qualities, but they worked together as a cohesive unit. Awesome. But yeah, dude, this has been awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
being able to kind of be in the presence of each other after like a couple weeks of because I mean we do hang out outside of this stuff, but it's been a minute. Yeah, when we can, but it's definitely been a minute since even doing a podcast like together. So like I said, it's been like 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if did I get to see you out at all after the last live episode? I know I saw you the one Wednesday up at Tom's. I just don't I don't remember if that was before or after, because it was either like
it had to be after, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was it after? Yeah.
It was right around the same time though.
Because that was in February, I think.
See.
So I think it was after. It had to be after.
I did. Sorry, I didn't put in my calendar like you playing up there. I just knew that you were, and
yeah, because I think we mentioned that, or it was maybe March. I think it was March 9th or something. March 9th.
So
something like that. Yeah.
So the live episode we actually recorded on March 8th, and then you played at Tom's on that Tuesday.
That makes a lot of sense, because I remember I was saying like I had to do some type of editing. I wasn't going to be able to edit until like that Thursday, so that makes sense. So we did the live event. That next night I did Tom's. So yeah, that was a busy week.
There you go.
But yeah, so yeah, we did technically see each other since the live event,
but it was like the same. It was
the same week.
Yeah,
but
back-to-back days.
Yeah, so we haven't necessarily seen each other.
No.
Other than through virtual stuff.
Yeah. I mean, you've been out fishing a couple times, but you go on the weekends, and I'm like,
yeah, and that's when you're kind of I think summer usually open up, so we'll get some fishing times in, and maybe we'll do a little live session on our commute.
For sure.
That'll be cool.
For sure. Brother, yeah, thank you for having me. Obviously, we are in your humble abode.
Yeah, man. Thank you for, taking the time out. This has been awesome. Thank you guys for all our listeners for coming back, and I definitely want to shout out that we're going global according to our analytics. We're getting into India and I think it's Argentina.
Argentina?
Yeah.
Cheers, brother.
Argentina. So anybody who's watching in this two areas outside of the United States, thank you guys for tuning in.
It's bad luck.
Yeah. Don't need any more of that. But to any new listeners, my name is Anthony Irvin. This is my best friend, Jim Green, and you guys have been watching One Set.
Until next time. Love you, brother.
Love you too. See you guys on the next episode.
Until next time.